How about now? Ah, we like our tech. So I'll say it again. Good evening. I'm Suzanne Cohen. I'm the Managing Artistic Director of Mirror Stage, and my pronouns are she, her. And I want to welcome you to the launch of Mirror Stage's new Contexpo series. Down in front. We would like to start by acknowledging that we live, work, and play on unceded territory. We honor with gratitude the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish and Coast Salish tribes, as well as their centuries of stewardship and care for the land itself. This acknowledgement does not take the place of authentic relationships with indigenous communities, who are very much still here, but serves as a first step in honoring the traditional lands we occupy and as an act of resistance against the erasure of their histories. We would also like to thank For Culture, Arts Fund, Washington State Arts Commission, the City of Seattle Office of Arts and Culture, the EPS Fund, Humanities Washington, the National Endowment of the Arts, the National Endowment for the Humanities, Phinney Neighborhood Association, and the Posner-Wallace Foundation for their support in making Contexpo possible. So Contexpo is a series of events featuring community artists that includes visual art, spoken word, special speakers, and workshops that take a deeper dive into the themes relevant to our upcoming productions of Expand Upon and Income Inequality. Sorry, as I trip, hi, I do theater. Our upcoming productions of Expand Upon Income Inequality and the Wage Gap in October 2022, and Chagrin Falls coming in spring of 2023. Mirror Stage's mission is to use the power of storytelling to challenge assumptions, bias, and prejudice, increasing equity and inclusion while encouraging more thoughtful reflection on today's issues. As Rebecca Solnit wrote in The Faraway Nearby, stories are compasses and architecture. We navigate by them. We build our sanctuaries and our prisons out of them, and to be without a story is to be lost in the vastness of the world that spreads in all directions, like Arctic tundra or sea ice. This weekend's theme is incarceration and redemption, and we want to thank Books to Prisoners for providing the artwork. Books to Prisoners is a Seattle-based nonprofit organization whose mission is to foster a love of reading behind bars, encourage the pursuit of knowledge and self-empowerment, and break the cycle of recidivism. They believe that books are tools for learning and for opening minds to new ideas and possibilities, and engage incarcerated individuals with the benefits of reading by mailing tens of thousands of free books to inmates across the country each year. In 2015, the City of Seattle recognized Books to Prisoners as a human rights leader. This evening we have Jeff from Books to Prisoners. If you have any questions, would like more information, there is a flyer out there. You can also talk to Jeff during one of the breaks. And there's more, I think we have a link to Books to Prisoner on our website as well. If you'd like to help support this program, you can make donations on the Mirror Stage website at mirrorstage.org or text Play It Smart to 206-888-6477. That's 206-888-MIRR. You can make a donation that way from your mobile phone. All of Contexpo events are free and open to the public, so we appreciate your support in helping make that happen. And so without further ado, I want to introduce our host for this evening's Poetry Slam. Miz Floes is a vocalist, author, producer, playwright, actress, and spoken word artist living in Seattle. She grew up in inner city Chicago, surrounded by violence and poverty, and credits the literary arts for saving her. As a woman, mother, grandmother, and member of the BIPOC community, she seeks to transform pain into art and productively release it back into the community. Her newest volume of poetry will be released soon. So let's give a warm welcome to Miz Floes.
Apologies. Safety first. So I want to start by saying I dedicated part of my existence to helping those incarcerated voice. Basically, I am their platform for voice, so they send me up to 41 pages of poetry. I publish their poetry on Amazon.com. Their families receive the proceeds. I also create blogs for them and Facebook pages so that they can get public awareness for the volumes of poetry that they've published. And it also helps them ease into the reentry of the community when they leave the confinement. My motto is, the body is caged, the mind is free. This piece is dedicated to them. I'm going to be first, as I promised, on the poetry slam. So she doesn't have to go first because she didn't want to go first, okay? So I'm going first, okay? I think about you on like a daily basis. I can see your smile clearly. I wonder if you know I love you dearly. Can you hear me? I'm out here waiting on you. So when you're feeling low, all up in your head, you don't know what to do, you're really going through, feeling like you got no space to grow, just know you got it all in you. You can make it through, and I'm waiting for you. Nah, we ain't never met. Still, I'll never forget the fact that you're a father, a son, an uncle, husband, and brother, a daughter, a sister, a best friend, big cousin, lover, wife, and mother. No, I have never seen your face. And still, I know you have a place. There's room for us all in this vast space. You've got purpose, and I know you're worth it. That's why I'm waiting. I want to be amongst the first to welcome you back to the community. See, while you were away, we were busy building through unity. We've been paving paths toward positive opportunities, literally writing grants to publish the thoughts that you have articulated and transformed into verse. The intent is to assist you with book sales, generating income, to build your savings and ease your transition of returning home, your employment search. I can point you in the direction of food boxes, housing, and free hygiene resources. Of course, it's ultimately your choice. I'm of the opinion that you still have a voice, and I hear you. I'm waiting for you. I appreciate and respect the fact that incarceration does not necessarily equal inadequacies with regard to your personal education. I'm aware that you have emotions, beliefs, and goals. I believe that you have taken the time to self-heal and become whole, to learn your inner workings. I'm waiting for you. I most definitely believe that you should have another chance to advance to your highest potential. I think it's essential in the quest to facilitate a smooth reentry into any community. History has proven that this task is difficult at best. This is very true. I would offer that the load is lightened with less stress because people like me are out here waiting for you. So when you're feeling low, you're all up in your head, you don't know what to do, really going through, feeling like you got no space to grow, just know you got it all in you, and I'm out here waiting on you. Peace. So we had no number one. First of all, has everybody signed up that wanted to speak? Is there anyone that has not signed up that would like to speak? Yes. Thank you. So is it Eva or is it Eve? Eva. Please welcome Eva. We welcome with finger snaps and claps. Thank you.
So this is a series of 6 haikus divided into 2 sections of 3 haikus each. First chance, bird. The bird flies away, looking for home and shelter, but not accepted. Wolf. The lonesome wolf runs, cold, hungry, tired, and wet, abandoned, alone. Humans. We cast people out and don't let them in again, not letting them change. Second chance, bird. The bird flies forward, safe at home with their family, happy forever. Wolf. The grateful wolf runs, playing with their new family, loving forever. Humans. Never cast it out. All people are equal now, in no way compared.
You totally could have gone first. There's nothing wrong with your poetry. It's amazing. Give it up again because haikus are hard to write. Rick McWolf is our next guest. Put your hands together for Rick.
Thank you so much. Can you hear? Boy, I have stage fright. No, I know. No, it's okay. So anyway, so what I want to do is, I was walking in the neighborhood and I saw a flyer, and it said, calling for poets, and so I said, oh, that sounds good. I saw the topic, and for me, I interpreted it. It said, or incarceration and redemption, and however you relate to that or how you interpret that, and for me, it was like an incarceration of my form of like my false self. In a false self, I wasn't my true self, and anyway, so about a few years ago, I put together a short collection of short poems called "The Tethered World," and I'd like to read a few of those. And so for me, it's some of them deal with the incarceration, and some of them deal with the middle ground, and some of them deal with the redemption. So the first one I'm going to recite is a poem I wrote, "Deadly Desires." Clawing to climb some life higher leaves me lower to crawl another day, waking to the deadly desires, accepting denials okay. Sometimes that woman's my kingdom, sometimes she's my cold, lonely cell, sometimes she's my God-given heaven, sometimes she's my own goddamn hell. Clawing higher, higher, the deadly, deadly desires. Higher, higher, so higher, the deadly, deadly desires. That next poem I'm going to read is Bleeding Out. The fire flickers, then it's all but dead. I'm alive, inspired, somewhere inside my head. And outside the wind, she whispers, oh so loud. While inside we're weeping, pleading, bleeding. Inside we're weeping, pleading, bleeding. Inside we're weeping, pleading, bleeding out. Somewhere the past won't ever go away. Right here today, I'll slip, I'll slide, I'll stray. And outside the wind, she whispers oh so loud. While inside we're weeping, pleading, bleeding. Inside we're weeping, pleading, bleeding. Inside we're weeping, pleading, bleeding out. Up there below, high beneath it all, somewhere, oh, anyway, I had a blank spot. Sorry. Anyway. So, okay, this is a poem called The Bottom. The bottom, drinking top shelf bourbon in the crawl space of my being. Poem, Sweet Hope. So easily found, passed around, beaten down, crushed, not broke. Her still pretty face made up over pain, covered up all of Seattle stain. Soft, sweet, small town Jane, sweet darling, sweet hope. It just be what it be, so I be me. Simple words she spoke, her still pretty face made up over pain. Sweet darling, sweet hope. B, fallen, reborn, free. Once none, then all three. Evolve instantly, I, myself, now me. A simple kid. What said? It said, He was a distant descendant of Genghis Khan. His loyalty, blood oath bound, his purity, Eden then, newly cleansed, a simple kindness inside the man. I'm going to close with the name of the short collection of short poems was called The Tethered World. And it is the last poem in the collection. It was called Heaven's Fence. And and then was when I finally sensed all past condense to the point where there was a dead space, heaven's fence, when slowly forever lonely felt dense. So suddenly time commenced, never ceasing, always being, releasing the tethered world. Thank you.
That was Rick. So I don't have a long list here, so I'm going to do a short piece. It's the power of P. Power to the people providing positive paths for purpose and progression. That's powerful. So this piece is my signature piece. I want to share something with you that I share with pretty much all of my poetry audiences. I am a child of poverty. I also am a child whose parents suffered drug addiction. My mother until her death most recently in January. This is my signature piece. I got a story, my story is sad. The details of my story make me mad. I got a story, I've got a plea. Somebody please save my humanity. In this world where I stand not amongst the chosen man, I don't drive a fancy car. I have never acquired the taste for caviar. Gay Paris to present date, I can't afford to travel that far. When I look in the sky, I realize I can't name one star. I was raised by a single mother, and me and my younger brother, we took the option of staying strong for one another. We were not strangers to welfare or the public aid because that's how our rent was paid. I was my mother's maid, the master chef and receptionist too. And it was my pleasure helping mother through those struggles with motherhood. Lord knows I did all I could. But present came and changed us all, and some would come to rise. Others came to fall. In this land where I stand, not amongst the chosen man, my struggles yesterday now seem the good days. It's extreme, the way we all fell, like the domino effect, all catching our own versions of hell. Made my head swell with mass sorrow. I prayed for brighter tomorrows when my baby brother was no longer on the grind. When my mother stopped smoking all the crack cocaine she could find, I was looking to locate peace of mind. My time to shine. In this world of government cheese and women on their knees, I'm begging somebody, please, save my humanity. Peace. Thank you. So I'm guessing people signed up in the order they wanted to be called. So I'm going to ask Ty to come up now. Please put your hands together for Ty.
Hello, everyone. First, I want to say thank you all for coming. I'm a member of Mirror Stage. I produce our podcast, and this was a really great event for us to start doing, so I just appreciate everybody for coming. And I'll be reading a piece called Caged. This cage contains my flesh, but not my rage, and not my soul, because I am more than my mistakes. You ought to know, because you could be here in my place. All it takes is one bad day, one slip of faith. Or for me, a crooked cop to look my way, because I got the locks and probably sparked the J. So I fit the look they trying to lock away. It sealed my fate, or steal my fate, I should say. Rob my hopes and loot my dreams. What a bounty you have on your hands. Even if I showed you, you wouldn't understand. How can you see inside when you can barely see the man right here as I stand before you put me in your wicked plan? It's sickening, sickening, sickening. And look through the bars outside, the hate is only thickening. Never claim to set, though the news is getting crippling. Underground manifestos, deep conditioning. Supermarket shooting sprees, you barely get to mention when the children screaming in the schools, the government ain't listening. But let me tote around an AR-15, they ain't missing it. Put a brother down with a quickening. Plus, the gas so high my baby mama stopped a visiting. Freedom's definitions based upon your positioning can sound like I'm not the only one who's in imprisonment, but we can all still make a difference or a deference. Defer from the shackles of prejudice and hatred. Defer from the thought that you become the wrong you're making. Defer from the trauma and these cycles that we're breaking. Defer from your idea of men bringing home the bacon. Defer from the fake news, the image of us they painting. Defer from your negativity. Defer from Satan, Lord, save them. And even as a victim of circumstance, I have a chance to defer from the box that society placed me in. This is not the end. And if the fat lady singing, I'll grab the mic and join in. I got my life in my hands, I'll make it bright as I can, so I can show the way out when the path's too dark to make out. And when you're blinded by pain, when you're too blinded by pain to see through the rain into the peaceful eye, follow me and we can reach the sky. Like doves you release to fly. But no, sir, no way. This dove won't come back when I leave my cage. Thank you.
Sorry, my thumbs are getting in the way. Apologies. That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So the last person to come up will be Raul. So before he comes up, I would like to enter a spoken word open mic guest from the Walla Walla State Penitentiary, Mr. Marlon Howell, who goes by Black Man 2.0. Was one of the first prisoners to take part in my publications, Poems from the Pen. He is volume 1, and I would like to read something from Marlon. Is that all right? Marlon's a deep thinker. He's a father and recent grandfather. This was my favorite. Shackles, chains, and restraints. If we don't know where we come from, are we traveling in vain? While we stumble in confusion, shackled and restrained, stripped us of our lands, language, and families without emotion, when they shackled us in chains and shipped us across the Atlantic Ocean. Who can we ask about our past or even look for direction? Surely not the other ones who blame us for those chains and our own oppression. Black men emasculated and murdered. Black women beaten and raped. Shackles, chains, dogs, and firearms preventing our escape. We hail from kings and queens, yet are regarded as savages and peasants. These shackles and restraints symbolic to the dehumanization of our Black essence. Thank you. I will share with you that being children of drug-addicted parents is hard work. It's hard work. I am the oldest of 14. Of my 7 brothers, 4 are incarcerated. Marlon Howell is the oldest of those brothers. I have brothers in almost all of Washington State's prisons. This is my way of doing that time with them. If they feel like you were there with them, you wrote it out, it's more of a disappointment to let you down. They don't want to go back, right? So my brother, I had 2 brothers at the same time, went to the hole. We lost our mom. They couldn't come out due to COVID to the services, so they acted out in other ways, ended up in the hole. I had to do that time with them. My way of doing that time with you is I send you a poem on a subject, you send me one back on the same exact subject. Then I came up with the idea, how about we get you published so that when you get out, you don't need to sell drugs to stay on your feet. You can sell your books. You can come out and peddle the poems. How about that? Okay, that worked. One brother found out, got jealous. I was like, great, let me find a grant. Tell all your friends, everybody in there that you met, people you're having problems with in there, this is the way to write it out, get it out. On the paper, off of you, and you can make money doing it, right? It's an income, but it's also a re-entry into the community. It's letting people look inside your mind, letting them know that when I get out, it's not on my mind to rape anybody or murder anybody. I'm trying to feed my children that I miss so much. I wish they knew this intelligent me instead of the desperate me trying to make ends meet. Not every prisoner has that story, but there are very many that do. So I want to welcome them into my world, and I'd like to talk with you also about a partnership. Without further ado, please put your hands together for Raul.
Thank you. I'm going to lay this in here. Good to see you. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. When one of the friends that works here at Phinney sent me the information about and the invitation about this event, I said to myself, Friday, I had to do something else, but this is very dear to me, so I'm here. So thank you, and I'd like to share with you. First of all, briefly, long story, very short. There is a group in Seattle known as Pongo Teen Writing, and I became a member of the group after I retired. And for 2 years, 2.5 years, I volunteered inside the juvenile detention center. And then COVID came, and I couldn't do it because the whole point of being in person with the, by the way, we don't call them prisoners, we call them students because that's the respect we have to give to them. I just could not do it online. It's difficult. You got to, for me to be able to be there with them, I need to feel and see their emotions, how they move their eyes, how they respond. See, you know, there's a lot to say when the body reacts in a way, when the mind is working, and you can tell. So that's what I've done. And before I go into, well, there are 3 books that have been published there. Through the program. The last one is this one, Shadow Beside Me. And in here, there are a couple of poems from the students that I work with, and I'll share one. The first one was, there had to be someone. And the one that I came in, above the water. All the poems here are by the students that are in the system. They could be as young as 12 and old as 17. And the poems are wrenching. They are just, and for me, what I realize is that to do this with them in that environment, it made me feel human, not just some poet with a nose tipped up, oh, I'm a poet. No, I'm a human being. I like poetry, I like to express it and share it with everybody else. I teach in the middle schools, and I have other programs here and there that come up with the immigrants, Casa Latina, the domestic workers. Poetry is, like Pablo Neruda said, bread, and bread is for everyone. Okay, thank you. All right. This poem here, this is my new book. Came out during COVID again because of that. So I tried, and it's still, I got a lot of copies to sell. You can order on Amazon if you like. So this says it all about my experience at the detention center and why I became interested in mentoring the youth in detention. There are seeds that are blown by the wind. There are seeds that are planted by human beings. There are seeds, those seeds will grow into beautiful flowers and trees. Those are powerful seeds of knowledge mankind needs. The seeds will germinate, throwing roots expanded like fingers, grabbing hold of the earth. The roots contain well-being, grandiosity, wisdom, virtue, truth, pride, glory, faith, harmony, agreement, disagreement, tranquility, ancestry, principle. The roots will give way to the branches, providing leaves, foliage, and fruit. Reason must be at the base of all that flourishes. Think of the dervishes' dance, who whirl and whirl away. There's a cosmic dance throughout the human forest, where we encounter people from different places and different faces. I am one of those trees. I unravel my branches to provide fruit and shelter to the seeds I planted. These days I share fruit and shelter with the youth in perilous situations. Compassion and an open heart are the tools I use to help them free themselves from the trauma and pain in their heart. Poetry is the carving tool I use to remove the stumps that hold them down. The words come out of their hearts like seeds germinating to create their new poems. Poetry they didn't realize they already had. When the young are praised, their faces gleam like the sunshine in the early spring. Their poems are gems strung together like diamonds after the rain. And now one poem by one of the students. In the book, we do not put their last names. Sometimes they have other names. The name given here is Joel, age 15. Addiction. I am addicted to the streets. In my addiction, my life is filled with hatred, enemies, guns, drugs. In my addiction, I am glad to feel hated by many. I am addicted to the numbness caused by the substance I ingest to feel the rage, the emotion, where the anger I carry explodes within me, splattering, splashing, breaking, destroying my soul, myself, my mind, me. In my addiction, I think about the damage I caused, the hearts I broke, the splinters in my fists. In my addiction, the real me becomes an unwanted thing. I am addicted to being understood, to be given the chance to express myself without prejudice. In my addiction, betrayal comes in the form of denial. I am addicted. And that's by Joel, age 15. Thank you.
Anyone else want to say anything? I feel like somebody's just kind of nervous, but they really want to do some poetry. Am I wrong? Does anyone want to do any poetry? Okay. I have one more. This is more of a community call to action. This is a call to all. It's time for action because your faction has become the main attraction. Chaos has run amok. What the hey? Sisters and brothers, fathers and mothers, the time has arrived. It's time to put in the work. Time to begin the process of healing. It is time to start building. Look around. If it isn't gang or police violence, it's corona or some other virus taking us out. If in your mind there still lies doubt, know that these happenings surrounding you are real. It's time to build. Build with purpose and ensure connection. Build with your community, aligning your building so as not to disturb spiritual balance. Quality construction, assured with persistence and group effort. Build with knowledge, understanding, wisdom, faith, and trust. A strong structure begins with the foundation of love. This is a must. This ensures the sustainability. Sow seeds of sight to eradicate blindness. Grow food for thought. Build. Sisters, brothers, fathers, and mothers, as a community, we grow together. Trade within the community always makes it more better. I will trade you some spice for some of your seed. I'll trade you some of my wine if you let me take a drag off your weed. I'm just trying to make it plain. Seed by seed, grain by grain, in order to maintain, we must reframe the system's structure. In order to build and grow, we need one another. Each member has their individual goals. For certain, It's an individual task to build one's self-esteem. Yet, community growth is achieved as a whole, and it's time. I be the feminine entity. As the community member, my role is to give birth to thought, to verse, to new members of the community. I must be guidance, strength, resolve, and peace. Yes, there is great responsibility being me. There is work required and desired from entities other than me, requirements of skills possessed by them, us, and sometimes a combination of we. Endless opportunity resides within unity. It's time to build. Teach the children to treasure family, the value of honesty, the necessity of self-respect, and reflect future light. Build. Do not turn a deaf ear. Don't turn your backs and tuck and run. Every papa and mama's got to grab their gun. Aim and cock it, ready to fire. Never tire. Fire those bullets of chastitation, fused with education without hesitation. Keep your chin up and your head high. Through frustration, degradation, and emasculation, find inspiration to keep building. When the winds of chaos wrinkle the sands of man's time, when unsettled waters wash all the structures away, this community will stay. Now, it may be hidden beneath the desert to be discovered by future man. Yet, when it is unearthed, multi-generations will stand in awe of the marvel that was built to sustain. And I'll say it once again, it's time to build. Peace. So, since no one else is going to come up and do any poetry, I have books over here, CDs. You can come over and have a conversation with me about poems from the pen. But let's not leave. Let's gather, let's grow, let's converse together. Even if you don't want to take the mic, just come up and talk, share a word. My name is Miz Floes, and I have enjoyed being your host for this event. Thanks for coming out.
So again, let's give another hand to Miz Floes. You can find out more about her and about the books on her website. It's MizFloes.com, MizFloes.com. So thank you again for joining us this evening. We will be doing another Contexpo in August where the theme will be veterans and PTSD, and we hope that you will join us again for that. There will be another visual art exhibit. There'll be storytelling, spoken word storytelling, and and this weekend, tomorrow, we have a speaker from Humanities Washington. Omari Amili is presenting a talk on life after prison, the prison to school pipeline, and on how to get prisoners into school and to help with life after. So that will be at 4 o'clock here. So we invite you all to join us again tomorrow at 4 if you're able to make it. And I want to thank the Phinney Neighborhood Association again for hosting and partnering with us in presenting this. I want to thank the staff, Artistic Associate Kiki Dominguez, podcast producer Ticarius Cummings, Marketing and PR Manager Kylie Riffle. See, I got it right. I didn't switch it. And so again, thank you all for joining us on this lovely Friday evening. And so I will say goodnight, and we hope to see you soon. There's more snacks, and help yourself, and talk to Jeff and Miz Floes, and find out, and Raul, and find out more about their very important work that they're doing. Thank you.